Membranes are actually a very important part of our body. These are the type of membranes that we're going to be talking about are the type in our bodies that cover and protect us. And the reason why we're talking about them now is because they are made of a combination of both epithelia and connective tissue. And we have 4 types of membranes in humans. So we're going to kind of overview them, and we will talk about them more specifically in detail when we get to some other points within this semester. The first one is mucous, the second one is serous, third one is cutaneous, and the fourth one is synovial. So let's take a look first at the mucosae, or the mucous membranes. These line all of the cavities that we have in our bodies that are exposed to the outside environment. So your nose, your mouth, your lungs. So this includes all of the digestive tracts, reproductive tracts, respiratory and urinary tracts. Their job is to keep the tissue moist, usually by excreting mucus or fluids. The connective tissue part actually has a special name. It is called the lamina propria. And the epithelia of mucosae is usually simple, but there are places where it can be stratified. The serous membranes. These line sealed internal parts of our ventral body cavity. They are made up of simple epithelial tissue as well as loose connective tissue. And we only have 3 serous membranes in the body: the pleura, the peritoneum, and the pericardium. And we will take a closer look at these when we talk about the body cavities, because they actually go along with the different body cavities that we'll be discussing. In the serous membrane, we actually have 2 halves. The parietal, it lines the inner surface of the cavity, so they're kind of outside towards the body wall. The visceral side lies directly on the top of the outer surface of the organ. So these membranes are actually double layered. Because of that, it can actually generate friction. And to minimize that friction, there is a little bit of fluid in between the 2 layers called serous fluid. The cutaneous membrane we will definitely look at more in detail when we get to the integumentary system. This is the skin. It is made of stratified squamous with some loose or dense irregular connective tissue, and it is thick, waterproof, and dry. The synovial membranes line our joint cavities that have capsules, and they allow free movement to occur. These are made up of loose connective tissue with an incomplete epithelial layer. In other words, the layer goes part way, but it doesn't line it completely. These synovial membranes help prevent impacts and abrasions of our bones as they move and as we move. And inside of them is a very viscous synovial fluid. It helps to allow smooth movement. So here on this diagram, you can see we've got the 4 different types of membranes: the mucous membrane, the serous membrane, cutaneous, and the synovial. And again, that's a really good diagram from your book. So we've covered now epithelia, connective tissue. We've seen how they interact in membranes. So we need to talk very briefly about muscle tissue, neural tissue, and some of the things that happen with tissue injury, which we will do in the next segment.